All right, guys, we're in this fall release season. We're still, or late summer, let's call it that. Let's
not call it fall yet.
Let's not
Relax.
call it fall yet. Late summer release season. Last week was all about Callaway in here. You know, we had obviously pre-recorded our Titleist T-Series release. But today, it's all about Taylormade. We've just filmed the new P790 video, very impressive. For those of you who haven't seen that one, please go back and watch that one. I definitely think that's an iron that catches a really wide segment of the golfing market.
Yep.
There's a lot of you out there that could really benefit from that iron. But today we're here to talk to you about the brand new Mill-Grind 4. We spoke about in the P790 video whether there's sort of it's justified that, you know, we're in generation 4 of the P790. We're talking about, is it justified that we're in the 4th generation of the Mill-Grind wedges?
Yeah, good point. And from some of the stuff we've seen right out of the box with Mill-Grind 4, we've all looked and we were like, wow, that looks nice. The finish is nice. The options are nice. So I think, in my opinion, they have definitely upped the wedge game for sure.
I think, I thought Mill-Grind 3 was quite nice. I'll be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of the first two generations. But I think they've gotten the look of this very, very right. The one thing they've missed the trick on, they've really got it wrong, is the green and white paint fill.
Yeah, I know. You don't like that
What
at all.
have they done that for?
Green.
They've almost compromised the whole launch by going green and white.
For you. And your clients.
Yeah, exactly.
But they do look clean. I will say, outside of being a Tiger fan, the Tiger grind looks unbelievable.
Yeah, and we like that in the MG3 as well. We thought the Tiger sort of shaping, the sole options that it gave you were on the Tiger one was really, really nice. But yeah, overall, I think sort of managing the CG, as you can obviously see from the back design, up and towards the toe, fantastic. We have this new sort of more aggressive face, Mikey.
Yeah, pretty rough.
I'm actually shocked that level of roughness is allowed.
Yeah, well, that little milling between the grooves obviously is going to help with, you know, moving some water off the face. But earlier you were walking around scratching the face, and you're like, "Can you hear that? Can you hear that?" It's rough for sure.
Obviously, you know, Cody's over there with his earphones in, listening in this, and I'm kind of going like, "Can you hear that?"
ASMR Club Champion review.
This is wild. I mean, I'm literally like, it is so rough. It's literally like sandpaper.
That's good.
I mean, you've got baby soft hands.
That's rough.
They've never seen a day's work in their life. But, you know, if we do that compared to, we grab an SM9 and not nearly as rough.
That's pretty rough.
Not nearly
as rough, though.
So, I mean, you can see the narrative there. Obviously, going for spin, going for, you know, the sort of, like you said, the sort of moisture, hydrophobicity, trying to kind of retain as much spin as you possibly can. My question is, how long does that last?
Yeah, good point.
I had the Taylormade wedges years ago that some of you may remember. They had the copper face, and the copper face was actually sandblasted. And same thing, you used to peel the sort of face sort of covering off, and sort of reveal this kind of really sandy kind of feeling face. And it would spin like insane amounts for the first couple of days. And then after that, it would go down to very little. I'm curious, does this do the same?
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. So we're going to dive into it today. We're going to do actually 2 tests. We're going to do a standard test today, gap wedge, sand wedge, and lob wedge that I would pick from my own specs. And then we're going to get outside. Taylormade are really kind of sent us 7 different lob wedges.
Crazy. It's a lot of 60 degrees.
There's a lot of options in these 60s, guys. I think, certainly the most Taylormade I've ever had in their lineup from the Mill-Grind series. Obviously, they've had high toe options in the past, but you guys are absolutely spoiled for choice now when it comes to the options in these grinds. And in the 60s, where people really need it or want it, and, you know, where we as fitters love to have those options to give you different options of how we want to sit the club down, how we want it to look when we open it up, etc., etc. So we are going to do that outside. We want to get into turf. We've got some ideas about changing different lie conditions in order to try and test this sort of face, you know, abrasiveness, if you like. and see what it does. But today we're going to look at feel, flight, obviously look at launch and spin, make sure it ticks all those boxes.
Cool.
Okay. Tasty.
Right out of the center.
That was out the center, yeah.
9,700 with a 50-degree wedge.
Yeah, flight was nice. You can just see, driving that peak height down. We talk about it all the time. The more we increase friction, the more we bring that flight down. And obviously, with how rough, we talked about how rough these faces are. Let's listen to that, Michael.
He's addicted to the sound.
Sound. Never heard a wedge like that. But that does pull the peak height down. That's 27 feet lower than I was averaging with a 797er.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Decent strike again.
From address position, initial thoughts
Lovely.
with the 50, just
really
very
good,
clean.
Good looking, good looking shape, great feel. Honestly,
Tidy.
like there's not you can't pick a hole in that.
Good. Just change the paint color.
Yeah, the paint color needs to go. But they'll be a nice my MG4.
Yeah, you'll have the ability to custom them for sure.
I mean, to be honest, if this was me, right, and I'm making a wedge that is going to be considered a tour product, take the paint fill out.
Paint fill out, 100%.
Get it out.
Yeah.
Just go all raw, paint fill out. Maybe leave your little black T-bug in there. Like, that's fine. All of the other paint out.
Yeah. It's a nice swing.
I mean, 3 shots in a row. If we look at where that strike is, and they're on top of one another.
Yeah. And that standard bounce, any shaping to that sole of the wedge at all?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No.
Very square.
I mean, like the slightest of heel relief and a very sort of gradual, a very, if I was going to compare it to, I may as well compare it to a Volky because that's what everyone will understand. But it probably looks a little bit like an S.
Right, okay.
Somewhere between an F and an S. Obviously, it's got a kind of full sole, but there is a little bit of rolling off that trail.
That's nice.
But these are genuinely, Mike, this is really impressive.
You like them?
I really like these. I'm shocked how much I like them, in fact. Didn't hit that one very good.
A little skinny.
Necky. But it was okay. Look at the spin. So if we look at all of those so far.
Your standard deviation is 90 with spin. And there's maybe one that you've necked a little bit.
Yeah.
So very, very tight.
Very, very tight. Let's do one more with this and then go into the 54. It's just nice.
Set a mill grind 4 wedges in your bag.
Yeah, I wouldn't be upset with a set of these. I want to see how this golf ball's doing.
Chewed up at all?
No. Pretty good.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Because there's been times where I've put a new wedge in the bag.
Yeah.
I did this weekend. And middle of the fairway, have a wedge shot in,
Chewy.
hit the ball, go up to the putting green, and it's already got like a burr on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, I still played it. I didn't lose it, which is nice, but not ideal.
Yeah, definitely. Good. 50 is a big thumbs up. Gorgeous. Shaping's really, really nice.
That finish looks good. Very muted.
It does.
Nothing shiny.
No. Just nicely dulled out. Like, we can obviously looked at that P790 finish. It's got kind of the white satin.
Yeah.
This is much more of like a dark satin. I'm way more in favor of this.
I think it'll weather nicely too in the bag. Even with bag chat or anything, it won't get super shiny on you.
Is it raw or is it finished plated? I think it's plated.
I think it's plated, yeah.
They're not crazy in spin though. Like,
No.
Not to the point. I would say the spin is consistent rather than high.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what you'd want.
I was expecting right out of the box like 10, 8, 11,
Yeah.
and Foresight will adjust that when we look at the specs. But yeah, so far, pretty close.
Very good. And these are very good.
New set of wedges in the bag. What's in the bag? 10.6 version 12.
What's a guy to do?
Yeah, well, it's end of season for you.
Aye. And also when you test product and it's like, wow, this feels
put in the bag,
unreal, it's amazing. Yeah.
I just put a new lob wedge in the bag, and I saw these ones this morning, and I'm like, maybe I'll tinker. A little pushy.
Yeah, a little pushy, but I wouldn't be devastated with it on the course. Hit it right in the same spot. I just left the face a little open. Just stand there all day and hit these.
Yeah. Great swing. They sound great. And I know we said earlier, you know, you hit anything out of the middle, everything's going to sound and feel great, but they sound very, very good.
They do. They do.
Tons of spin.
So go back to that ball, and I'll go to club page. Pretty cool to see where obviously Foresight has those strikes. Mike, maybe click on the club and just blow that up a second. Right, so you've got kind of like middle, slightly toe, and then the last one's out in the toe.
Yeah, exact same.
It's exactly the same.
And that ball cover is getting chewed up on that. I mean, the face is...
It's the paint,
the paint is coming off,
the paint that's coming off. The good thing is it's not... Again, it's not the cover. It's like the ball's... Say that.
Kudos to the diamond ball, because
the diamond ball is...
This thing looks like it's brand new out of the sleeve.
No beard, no nothing.
No.
You can just it's literally just the like coating of paint.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't talk about that highly enough. Right, let's look at the standard deviation on the spin there.
106 standard deviation. That is very, very consistent.
Look at those carry numbers, Mikey. 100, 100, 99, 99, 99.
Yeah.
That's bonkers.
Descent angle's almost exactly the same. Yeah, it's really, really good.
I love it. I love it. Very, very impressive. All right, Mikey. 60 degree low bounce V, 7 degrees of bounce. Not that much protection from a bounce perspective. I think for people who are thinking, is that, for me, should I be low bounce? I would really say you'd need to have great low point control to go as low as 7 degrees of bounce in a 60. Don't recommend that for lots of people. Kind of like them to be in the 10 to 12 range a little bit more often. A
little bit more safe with a higher bounce.
Even for me, to be honest, I'm worried a lot if I get down into this territory, what it could do. But I know if I'm pitching nicely, it'll feel amazing. Yeah. That was nice.
A little higher in the face?
A little bit high in the face, yeah. I think that's maybe that bounce where I probably could do with a little bit more. You just see how much it's coming out flat, can't you?
That was clipped.
Yeah, that was... I mean, this might be one of the best wedges I've ever seen. It's like a little...
Low bounce V.
It's just a V, a low bounce V.
I love it. Like, even looking from here, just looking at the grind is so nice.
Like, I mean, I obviously use the V right now. In the SM9 with 10 degrees of bounce, so this being sort of 7, you know, I think for summertime, you know, that's kind of perfect.
Totally.
Okay, what we got?
50 yards.
50.
When you're playing a 50-yard shot, are you trying to hit like this lower kind of peak height, you know, flight it in there, or just let one?
That's exactly how I'm not playing for that particular, you know, shot. I'm just playing like for setup, for you guys to sort of see the setup. I'm trying to be, obviously, narrow stance. I've got the face a touch open just to expose a little bit more bounce, but I've got the shaft very vertical.
Right, okay.
Right? And the ball position very neutral relative to the feet. So You know, I'm not playing anything sort of particularly specialist in terms of the setup. Just trying to make sure I have sort of a nice balance of rotation and width.
Yeah.
I think the thing people fall into is a bit of a kind of flaw in the pitching technique is with this shot, it gets too long and too sort of wristy.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's all dependent on timing.
Yeah.
Right, look at that shot. I mean, that one there spun almost 1,500 more than any other shot. So those are the inconsistencies that would kind of lead to people struggling with some distance control. Nice to know that you can do it, but you wouldn't want that to be your baseline.
No. Your success rate with that is a lot lower.
Yeah. Like that to me is very stock.
Yeah.
Driven, you know, a little bit on the lower side. I felt like a nice strike. Slightly toey. Okay, well, I mean, we've kind of led ourselves into somewhat of a bounce conversation because that low bounce V, which is the one I gravitated towards when I saw the grinds and I know what I play. But in hitting it, I definitely lots of leading edge, lots of catch, high strike. So I've gravitated over to the high bounce 12 just to see. I mean, you know, it doesn't have nearly this sort of same sort of sole design. So I just want to see if this is a little bit better on the strike. Mikey.
Yeah, like we said earlier, that little extra bounce is going to help you. So
it should help protect you. Wow. You hear it?
Yeah.
Well, that difference is wild.
Yeah.
Like how much that slid through the strike. Insane.
Night and day difference.
Insane.
This is the wedge you can start scaring the hole with. That low bounce V with that 7 degrees of bounce, it just sounded like every strike was different.
Chunky. It's almost like like vibration, feedback, like into that. It's like jarring my hand. Whereas this is night and day different.
So much better.
Off the chart.
You look like you can confidently swing a bit quicker at it and know that the bounce is gonna save you a little bit.
I hope this the mics and the sound can really pick this up. It might not come across, but you know, maybe it's more kind of feedback from the player. But like the difference is honestly off the charts.
So much better.
It's nuts.
You could sit here all day and hit those shots now, no problem.
Easy.
That low bounce V just looked like a struggle for you.
It was. And this is where in a fit you probably can't rely on just the data. Just to explain that, because if you look at that there, you would have a really hard time between the launch, spin, and sort of carry. The only place I can see is like way more retention on ball speed, leading to the protection on obviously the distance.
I mean, it's something I've said in fits before. Turn off all the technology and just listen to the difference.
Yeah, if you want to do a wedge for someone, like, use your ears.
Totally. Because that high bounce for you was night and day difference.
Night and day. Like, it's honestly an absolute pleasure to sit here pitching with this. Like, just nuts. Just nuts. Tight. All right, guys. Cool little test. I feel like we've not done much wedge testing in a while.
Not enough.
Really enjoyed that one. So for me, when it came to the 60, that's what it looked like. That's what it felt like, certainly. A little bit more spin through consistency. Definitely a tighter dispersion circle with the consistency. Night and day. And that's the difference between having options and not. And I think in the past, maybe Taylormade might not have had as an expansive of a range of grinds where you can't go deep into it. And I've been hitting some slow bounce Vs, thinking I love this one, this is nice.
Yeah.
And I've known immediately that the feedback's just this isn't it. Went round the other side of the wall and I've got 6 more to look at.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, which one do you want? So that in itself, guys, is custom club fitting. That's why we do this. That makes 9-day difference. I've not done anything different. Look at the path.
Yeah.
look at the angle of attack, look at the face. It's the same. Like I'm the same guy doing the same thing. It is literally exactly the same. Delivering the same amount of loft. I just have night and day difference of protection when it comes to having that little bit more bounce.
Yeah, and that protection's confidence too. The minute you put that high bounce in,
off the charts.
You could, like I said, you could hit these wedge shots all day long. That LBV looked like it was not a struggle, but just you get frustrated with it after.
Imagine on turf. I mean, that's the mat, and it's given me frustrations. I mean, you start, taking some chunky divots in there, whereas you're kind of feeling like the strike is nice and brisk off of the turf. World class. Guys, these are some top wedges.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
I'm definitely impressed. Now, I guess the variable or the thing that is yet to be seen is how does that face wear? We obviously talked about how abrasive it is, and it's obviously given, really impressive sort of consistency of spin. I wouldn't say it's the high spin I've ever seen. I've seen wedges spin higher, but when it comes to the groove itself, we've seen illegal grooves that spin more than that. I pitching with one of Scott Cowkes' wedge that he got an illegal wedge done a while ago, and like I could spin the 50-yard shot over 11,000 when trying to. But the thing is with this new face, it's the consistency level that's off the charts. We are going to take it outside, like we said, and introduce it to the other elements that you will find yourself in the golf course. And I'll be very curious if it stands up in that test as well.
Yeah, I think it will.
I do as well. Okay, thumbs up. Tipping our hat to Taylormade. These look like a real winner, minus the green and white paint fill, which obviously can be changed. We will be changing it before the next test. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you again soon.